Hello everybody. So I'm going to be reviewing my trailer Valet 5X. So before we get started, I just wanted to show you the box and then I'll go ahead and show you the problem that I have. And so this is going to be what I call. Okay, so here's my boat. It's a 2006 SX 210. If I go ahead and zoom out, you'll see it appears I have a pretty good amount of space to get it out. Unfortunately, the problem is with my driveway, and I'll show you that here in a second. So I have a pretty good sized driveway, but it curves at the end over here. And if you look at the previous people that owned this home, you'll see that the big rocks are there and the crushed up rocks from trailering is here. Now I was thinking I'd be able to maneuver the boat in there when we bought the home, but from looking at it, it's just way too difficult for a novice like myself. So what I thought was I will go ahead and buy the trailer Valet 5X. That way I can maneuver the boat out, back up my truck, and be ready to roll. All right, let's go ahead and unbox this thing. Okay, it looks like in order for me to install this, I don't want to lose my crank on this side because I'm going to be taking off the trailer valet after each use. I don't want to keep it on there. It doesn't really see a purpose. You can tell in Arizona heat, equipment gets damaged. Most of the stuff on here is pretty new, and after just a few years it looks a little bit rough. So I'm going to have to move my spare tire probably right over where this old sticker was, but for the purposes of this video I'm just going to go ahead and remove it and mount the bracket. Okay, this is the mounting bracket. In watching other YouTube videos, some people have actually tried to install it this way, but according to the manufacturer recommendations, it's got to be down. The only requirement is that there's 13 inches of clearance, which I'll go ahead and I'll measure, but it looks like I'm pretty good. So it comes with, just like the tire before, it comes with two brackets, which are powder coated, look to be pretty stout, along with the main bracket and the bolts, and a cotter pin, which is to remove it when you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and install this, and then we'll see where we're at. First, I think though I'll measure just to make sure when I get it close it's 13 inches, but then let's see where I'm at. Okay, this is the way it's supposed to look when it's on roughly. You can see that the circular spot where the actual jack connects is in the lower position. So if you look back here, let's see if I can show. See, it came with a big flathead and then a locking washer and then another nut. The instructions said to put the flat washer actually here at the front, but when I messed around with it, I noticed that the locking nut washer was actually pretty close to diameter of this hole here, so I'm assuming it's a misprint. So I'm putting a large flat washer in the back along with the locking washer and the nut. Now these brackets right here are not identical. So if you saw, I ended up putting them on upside down. At first I had to flip them over. They look pretty similar, but apparently when we try to line up, they're not. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down, and then we'll see where we're at. Okay, here is the finished product with it all locked down. If I was you, I would probably go a little bit slow and tighten these down. You want these to be as flat as possible. You don't want them bowed and then put back, so go slowly so don't flex these, and make sure they're on pretty good. I mean, this is going to be supporting the entirety of your tongue, so take this part slow. Here is the trailer valet. This part here is to rise and lower it. This part here is the brake. Anyway, so on this side there is a threaded hole. Now, you can't see it in here, but this is a safety bolt. So it goes back here, coming out of this hole, and secures into the side of the trailer valet. It's a secondary mechanism other than the pin. So let's go ahead and mount this and see how it looks. Securing it with a cotter pin. And really, that's all there is to it. So now it recommends that you use 75 pounds of pressure for the wheels, and you have to test those prior to using it because they can lose air pressure in transit. I gotta crank it in order to do so. So this is it. This is what it looks like on the boat. And I'm not moving the boat tonight. I gotta take it to the mechanic tomorrow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up this insulation, and then tomorrow I'm gonna move the boat out so I can take it to the mechanic to get some trailer work done. So we'll see how it works. So here we are the next day. It's 5 in the morning and it's already like 90 degrees here in Arizona. So I got up early in order to hook this up to my truck. So I have the trailer valet in place. I already took the weight off of my original wheel, and the brake seems to be engaged, even though I still have my other chocks in place. A couple things I noticed. So this is what you use to raise and lower the trailer valet, but down here, you see this hole right there and right there. There is a pin that goes through here that is used to lock this in place. It's not being used, so when I tried originally to spin this wasn't really going anywhere. So there's two gears. This is the slow gear and this is the fast gear. This was really tough to get on. So I'm gonna move it just a little bit with the slow gear, and then I'm gonna put on the fast gear, and then I'm gonna back it up here for a little ways and hook it up to my boat. Now it's gonna go a little further than I would normally go, but the whole reason is so I can try this out and make sure this thing is working appropriately. So let's change the gear and see how it goes. Well, it worked exactly as advertised, doing exactly what I needed it to do. I'm not surprised necessarily, but that was a heck of a lot easier than I thought it was. Even with the longer distance that I had, it worked out pretty well. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop it on my ball here, raise it a little more, just fine tune it right on top of my ball. And that's it. There it is. And I don't really know what else to say. It worked exactly as described. It was easier than I thought, and the distances, which I thought would hurt my back, really did not, especially once I got it into the quicker gear, the bottom gear. So there's another review nobody asked for, but I think this thing's a win.